Hello, my quilty friends. It's Stacy of Stacy Creates Stuff, and today I'm going to share with you 3 quilts that you could make in a weekend. If you're like me, sometimes you just want to sit down and get a project done in a day or a weekend. These 3 quilts that I'm going to share with you are all 3 that I have designed and made, some of them several times over in different variations of colors and fabrics. And I'm going to give you quick tutorials, just the sort of the basics of how each are constructed. I also have videos for each quilt separately that go into more details on the construction. All of the patterns are also available for free off my website. There are also kits available from my favorite quilt shop, Vintage Pink and Green, for all of these quilts. Links to all that information in the description below and also in the first comment. Let's get started with Interwoven. This is a quilt that I designed, over a year ago in fall colors, and I loved it. In the spring, I thought we needed a spring version. And in the summer, I decided that it would be really fun to make a sea glass version. So let me give you a quick overview of how the sea glass version goes together. What you will need are 18 either long quarters. You can do it with fat quarters, but I've just gone ahead and cut long quarters. Now, once you have your 18 pieces, you need to choose 6 that are going to become squares. The other 12 will be cutting into strips. So here are the 6 that I have chosen to be the squares. All right, I'm taking my fabrics that I'm going to use for my squares, and I'm going to go ahead and cut these into a total of 6 6.5-inch squares. Now we just need to take our other sets of fabric, and again, these are cut into 4 2-inch strips. All of our strips, all of our squares. The strips are going to be sewn into sets of 4 and kind of randomly. And I have all the strip sets pieced together and pressed. Now we are going to trim each of these sets down into 6.5-inch squares. You will need a total of 6 6.5-inch squares. It's been about 2.5 hours since I started on this quilt, and I'm already starting to lay it out. All the strip sets have been cut and trimmed, and now I'm going to go ahead and start putting together rows. Across the top, there are 9 blocks, and there will be a total of 12 rows. And this is how that final quilt turned out. I have video tutorials for both the autumn version and also the sea glass version. If you use your own fabrics, and I think that's great, then I highly recommend that you think of a theme to build your color palette around. It can be something as simple as autumn, or sea glass, or pinks and purples, whatever it is that you want to work around. And while the kits come with long quarters, this quilt can also be made with fat quarters. So if you purchase a fat quarter bundle and it has at least 18 different colors in it, then you can make this quilt using those fat quarters. My next fast quilt, Island Steps. The fabric was definitely the inspiration for this quilt. I stared at this fabric for a few months before I said, I know exactly how I'm going to make a quilt. I love how the color shifts across the fabric, and then all of the fabrics are overlaid with this beautiful floral design. Now, even though this fabric is quite unique and really makes this quilt sing, you can substitute other fabrics in. You could use several stripe fabrics, gradations, anything really that has a shift of either color or design going from one side of the fabric to the other. Once you pick out your 7 main fabrics, then you just need to pick out 3 to 5 complementary fabrics that can work for the squares that break up those main fabrics. The first step is to cut 2 6.5-inch strips from each of the striped batik fabrics. Do note that the stripes are running parallel to the selvage, so they are running along the length of the fabric, not across the width. Once you have your strips cut, then you want to arrange them in an order that you find pleasing. Once you have found that sequence, then you want to label each of the fabrics A through G. From here, we will subcut each of the strips according to the directions. From the complementary batik fabrics, we are going to cut one 6.5-inch strip from each of the fabrics and then subcut those into 6.5-inch squares. I cut 4 squares from each fabric. You will not necessarily be using all 4 squares of every color. You will have a chance to play around with where these squares go in the quilt. If you need to cut more squares of a particular color, you can certainly do that. I didn't use any more than 4 of one color. Once you have all your squares and your strips subcut, then it is time to start laying out the quilt. It is constructed in quadrants, and you just simply follow the directions on how to construct those quadrants. The premise of the quadrant is to start at one corner and build across to the other corner. Once you have all 4 quadrants sewn together, you will then sew quadrant A to quadrant B, quadrant C to quadrant D, and then the top half to the bottom half. And just like that, you have an absolutely stunning quilt top. And while the construction of this quilt isn't quite as straightforward as some of the other quilts, it isn't difficult. It just goes together in quadrants instead of blocks. And for our final simple and fast quilt, Striped Illusion. This quilt simply uses strips. It only takes 4 fabrics, and you need about 1 1/8 yards of each of those fabrics. You cut them into strips and you start sewing the strips together. Once you have 7 of each color strip sewn together, so in this case I have 7 navy and 7 gray, then it is time to cut them into 9.5-inch wide pieces. And voila, I have a block. With all of your blocks now cut, it is time to arrange them. Just follow the diagram in the instructions. You will do 4 rows. Each row has 6 blocks. And if you follow the pressing instructions, all of your seams will nest and you will have a beautiful, no overlapping seams on the back. Now I chose a linen look print that reads solid from a distance, but has a little interest to it up close. It's not a solid. Could you use prints instead? I think you could. You just want to make sure that they are going to work well together and show enough of the print in that narrow strip. The key to picking your 4 fabrics is that they really all need to work well with each other as they're paired up. I recommend having at least 1 light, 1 dark, and 1 that is a pop of color. So what do you think, my friends? Are you going to tackle any of these for your next quick quilt project? I think that I will be making another version or 2 of some of these quilts in the very near future. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. It's free to subscribe. And be sure to check out this video.